Hello and welcome to Flash Insight News. This is where the bizarre meets the important and the hilarious collides with the downright depressing. Buckle up because this week's news cycle is a wild ride. We've got sunken champagne, presidential mix-ups, and a lottery ticket that's both lucky and unlucky. So grab your drink of choice, settle in, and let's dive into the absurdity, shall we? Off the coast of Sweden, divers have stumbled upon a treasure trove of 19th-century champagne. Perfectly preserved in a shipwreck, these bottles offer a tantalizing taste of the past. And by tantalizing, I mean completely undrinkable. Seriously, the authorities have deemed it unsafe for consumption, which, let's be honest, is probably for the best. Can you imagine the disappointment of opening a 200-year-old bottle only to find it tastes like seawater and regret? Still, it's a fascinating glimpse into history. Back then, champagne was the drink of the elite. Now, it's the drink of, well, still the elite, but at least we have cheaper options. In a tale that could only be described as peak Trump, the former president recently recounted a story about being offered a ride on a helicopter by former California Governor Jerry Brown. The story, as Trump tells it, is filled with his usual flair for the dramatic and a touch of confusion that only he can bring to the table. The problem? The helicopter belonged to Willie Brown, no relation to Jerry, and a man Trump has repeatedly criticized. This mix-up is classic Trump, blending reality and fiction in a way that leaves everyone scratching their heads. Now, I'm no expert on helicopter ownership, but it seems like a detail you'd remember. After all, how many people get offered rides on helicopters by politicians? It's not exactly an everyday occurrence. Unless, of course, you're Donald Trump, in which case reality is whatever you say it is. Facts and details are mere suggestions in the grand narrative he weaves. The whole thing is a hilarious reminder that even after leaving office, Trump remains a master of self-inflicted chaos. His ability to create confusion and amusement in equal measure is unparalleled. It's like watching a one-man circus act, except the circus is on fire, and the only clown is also the ringmaster. The spectacle is both mesmerizing and bewildering, a true comedy of errors that only Trump could orchestrate. Section 4. Kamala Harris rallies in Arizona. A long road ahead. The vice president is on a mission, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Vice President Kamala Harris has been busy on the campaign trail, rallying for support in the crucial swing state of Arizona. This state could very well determine the outcome of the next election. It's a tough battleground, and Harris is pulling out all the stops, highlighting her experience and vision for the future. She speaks passionately about her plans for healthcare, education, and economic reform. Of course, it wouldn't be a political rally without its share of awkward moments. The energy in the room can be palpable, but sometimes it just doesn't translate. There were the usual platitudes, the forced smiles, and the inevitable technical difficulties. These events are as much about optics as they are about substance. At one point, the microphone even cut out, leaving Harris to shout her message to a bewildered crowd. It was a moment that tested her resolve and adaptability. But hey, at least she's out there trying. Her determination is evident, and her supporters appreciate her efforts. And who knows, maybe she'll even win over a few voters along the way. Every handshake, every conversation could make a difference. Or maybe they'll just be mesmerized by the sheer absurdity of it all. In the end, it's all part of the unpredictable nature of political campaigns. Section 5. A near-miss lottery win. Persistence pays off, and finally, a heartwarming story from the world of lottery dreams and near misses. This tale is about a man who almost lost hope, but decided to give it one more shot. A man in Michigan bought a lottery ticket with the winning numbers, only to realize he'd purchased it for the wrong date. Imagine the frustration and disappointment he must have felt at that moment. Talk about a kick in the gut. It's the kind of mistake that could make anyone want to give up on their dreams. But here's the kicker. He didn't give up. Instead of wallowing in regret, he decided to try again. He went back to the same store, bought the same numbers for the correct date, and guess what? He won. His persistence paid off in the most incredible way. It's a story that proves sometimes persistence really does pay off. It's a testament to the power of not giving up, even when things seem bleak. Or maybe it's just dumb luck. But perhaps it's a bit of both. A mix of determination and a sprinkle of fortune. Either way, it's a nice reminder that even in a world full of bad news, there's still hope for us yet. Stories like these remind us that good things can happen when we least expect them. Section 6. That's all, folks. And that's a wrap on another week of news that's stranger than fiction. We've had sunken champagne, helicopter confusion, and a lottery win that almost wasn't. What more could you ask for? Until next time, stay informed, stay skeptical, and try not to get too swept up in the madness. We'll be back next week with more news, more laughs, and more attempts to make sense of this crazy, mixed-up world. Good night.